What's up guys, welcome back to Venture Off-Road, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you how I fit my snorkel. So I've laid out everything on the table that you need to fit a 4x4 direct snorkel, and as well as all the things that are included in the box. Starting off with the hole saw and masking tape. This is the joiner pipe that will go inside of the fender to the airbox. Here's a template that you cut out and stick on the vehicle to align the holes correctly. The joining pipe that goes onto your airbox, a packet full of hose clamps, brackets, nuts and bolts, the top of the snorkel and the actual snorkel itself. So the first step is to remove the air filter, which is just 3 bolts, one at the front, one on the left hand side and one at the bottom on the right hand side, and then it's 2 hose clamps in the front to remove that plastic pipe, and then the air filter can be removed from the vehicle. Once the air filter has been removed, it gives you access to this hole over here, which you'll have to drill bigger to allow the connector pipe to stick out and join to the airbox. Second step is to remove the inner mud guards from the vehicle, and this is just a few bolts and clips that you have to undo in order to pull this plastic lining down and out from the inside of your guard to allow access to the top of the fender. Over here you can see the plastic guard is removed, and in this gap over here between the fender and the vehicle is where the joining pipe will be. I then cut out the template provided and stuck it onto the fender of my vehicle. It is very important to line it up correctly, otherwise your snorkel can sit skew or might not line up correctly and join with the pipes that are provided. The next step is to punch holes into the fender where you will be drilling, and I decided to leave the template on just to make sure that it was perfectly centered and I was doing it correctly. Once all the holes are punched, it is now time to move on to the drilling. I would just like to say a quick shout out to Total Tools. I've been using their hand tools as well as cordless tools for a while now, and they are really good quality and make quick and easy work of the job that needs to be done. Once again, I'm using a Total Tools cordless drill and a Wecker hole saw, and it made light work of this. Very easy to drill through the side of the fender. Once all the holes had been drilled into the fender, I then used this tool to get rid of all the burrs and to make a nice smooth edge to prevent any cutting or chafing on the snorkel itself. This is just an anti-rust paint that I used to cover up the bare metal that is showing from drilling the holes, just to prevent any rust from forming in this area. I then screwed these studs, which are provided, into the snorkel. This will stick through the fender, allowing you to mount the snorkel to the fender correctly and securely. It is very important when you are screwing in these studs that you leave the Allen key side facing outwards, which will allow you to tighten the studs to the snorkel from the inside of the fender. I then fitted the snorkel to the fender and then screwed on this bracket at the top on the A pillar of the vehicle, where you can now mark and drill holes to pop rivet that bracket onto the vehicle. The final hole that needs to be drilled is on the inside of the engine bay, and this hole is quite tricky because there's an existing hole there already, so I had to make up a template that I just pop riveted onto the vehicle to allow the hole saw to center correctly and to get the correct diameter of the circle. Now over here on the inside of the fender there is a crush bracket that does need to be removed. Luckily it is just tack welded into place, so wiggling it forward and back I managed to just break it free. You can see over here the joining pipe that will go from the snorkel to the airbox cannot fit if that bracket is in place, so it does need to be removed. The next step is to remove these bolts which hold the fender to the vehicle. This will allow the fender to move away from the vehicle, allowing you to slide the joining pipe between the fender and the engine bay, just to make access and fitment a little bit easier. Otherwise it is quite a tight squeeze if you do not remove the fender. Here you can see once those bolts have removed, it allows for a small bit of movement to the fender, which really does make fitting that inner pipe a lot easier. Now this bolt over here does need to be removed. It is an earth for one of the solenoids, but unfortunately it sticks through to the inside of the fender, and it causes an issue when trying to fit the joining pipe on the inside of the fender. I must keep saying it is a very tight squeeze in there, so if you are doing this yourself, just make sure that you really do everything you can to get it secured and fitted properly and straight. Once the joining pipe is fitted, you will then need to trim this excess plastic over here to allow the snorkel to sit flush with the fender. And on the inside over here is where the snorkel will join to the airbox once you have the airbox in place. So this is just me marking the inner pipe to cut it flush with the fender to allow the snorkel to fit correctly and flush with the fender. Now on the airbox, the stock intake pipe will have to be removed, and in order to remove it, you will just have to drill out these two pop rivets that hold the pipe in place. Over here, once that pipe is removed, this pipe will then slide over onto the airbox, and that will join the inner pipe to the airbox. I then took the sealant over here and put it around this pipe on the snorkel, which will join to the inner pipe that lies in the fender. As you'll see over here, it slides into there, and it is important that no water can get in there, so use as much sealant as possible. These are the washers and nuts provided that will secure the snorkel to the fender. It is important to tighten these nuts evenly to allow the snorkel to fit securely. Otherwise, if you tighten one nut at a time, it might pull the snorkel skew and you might battle to put the rest of the nuts on. Once your airbox is back in place, you then tighten this bolt over here, which secures the joining pipe to the vehicle. This pipe then slides over and goes from the joining pipe to the airbox, and that is just held on by two hose clamps. The final step is to put the cap onto the snorkel, and this is secured by a black hose clamp which is provided in the kit. And finally the snorkel is fitted and done. I must just say this was quite a harder job than I had originally anticipated. There's a lot of nuts and bolts and stuff that you have to move in order to fit that inner pipe correctly, and therefore I will leave a link for the instructions down below. So guys, if you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this, and share it to any of your friends that are fitting their own snorkel. Thanks for watching.